Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to languages for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I'm your keeper, Keeper Michael. We return to Masks of Nyarlathotep in our Egypt chapter finale series. And so at the top of the show, we would like to thank all of our listeners and all of our Patreon supporters. We appreciate your listening ears. That said, we're going to get directly to introductions. So to my right.
This is Tiffany, and I play Maeve O'Shea, and there's a big ugly.
Yes, that's true. It's no way to talk about your keeper, though. To Miss O'Shea's right.
This is Morgan. I play Lillian Lane, and I'm hoping to make it through this combat.
Yeah, words echoed likely by some of the other investigators here, too. At the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Jack Doyle, and it's fine. It's all fine.
To Jack's right.
This is Lonnie. I'm playing Adelsar, and I forgot that I left the camel outside.
You know, that poor camel, it deserved a better fate than what might befall it. But more on that later. To Otto's right.
This is James. I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tartenbach. And, I wouldn't build a summer home here, but it's not so bad so far.
Certainly not. And to the doctor's right.
This is Alex playing Saint-Baron, who is pretty confident that only action can win out, where argument has repeatedly failed.
That is a fascinating argument. We'll see if that bears out. And last but most certainly not least, a special guest joining us again.
Hi there, this is Allie, and I play Alexandra Swift. And I'm back again.
Indeed, you are. And so we'll lift the curtain tonight on the desolate desert, which is now packed with the forms of corpses dispatched by our investigators. Beyond the ridge, a form had come, a purple-flecked and green underlit form. And it was because of such a form and its appearance that, Sam, you had driven a vehicle into position and had jammed the mechanics of it down so that way it would collide with such a beast. This vehicle packed with so much incendiary fluid and the associated metal of the flatbed.
Yep.
And you turn to run and begin through the desert, making your way, temple or not, back to the only position which is somewhat safe.
Yep.
And so out in front of you, Jack, Maeve, Lillian, you see this form almost swim along the desert floor. All of its tiny fingers and hands picking its way faster. This is no slow-moving ooze. This is a rapid tidal wave of tenebrous flesh that is coming towards you, popping with all sorts of eyes and ears and random organs to help it probe and find what is out there. And this vehicle collides in a true calamity with this flesh. And there is an unmistakable boom. Sam, there were several canisters of gasoline on the flatbed. You had prepared for a longer trip through the desert if necessary, and that said, it's going to provide a little additional kick. And so I might normally have you roll 4d10 to treat the pickup truck bomb, as it were, as a stick of dynamite. But I am going to upgrade your die type to d12.
Nice.
Given the fact that structurally, you're also exploding a ton of metal as well. It seems only fair that your truck-sized shrapnel bomb should do a little bit more damage.
So that's 40, 12.
Mm-hmm.
There's a kaboom.
There is.
For 22.
Okay. 22 points of damage. So there is a definite boom. And you see and hear not only the explosion, but the sizzle of flesh and amorphous ooze. It's almost like someone microwaved pudding. It's
That's unpleasant.
really gross. Luckily, you're far, far, far away from it for the moment. So, Sam, I'm going to ask you for one more roll.
Sure.
And that's a Constitution roll because you are in a chase.
Man, do I have to do this?
I mean, kind of, yeah.
All right. It's a success. 50 over 65.
50 over 65, that's a success. So it succeeded on its con roll as well.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And so right now, you are exactly 3 chase spaces away from it. Normally, this would not constitute a chase because you are far enough away to, quote, get out of the way. But that said, this is slightly different. Because as it starts, actually your dex is higher than it. So I'm going to assume that your action will be to continue to flee, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Opposite direction where the explosion happened. Was all part of the plan.
Certainly.
I'm not looking back, by the way.
Your movement is 9, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So it is 1 movement point faster than you,
Yeah, that's a problem.
which means it gets an additional movement. And so you move 1 and it moves 2. See how that goes?
Yep.
Okay. Sam nears the mouth of the cave, running at full tilt across the sand. It is clear that, from your vantage point, Jack, that what has gone on beyond this massive explosion has slightly slowed, but not damaged the creature insufferably. It rolls over, the rest of it rolls over the truck, what's left of it. And you watch as the arms, the edges of this thing create arms to pull itself over. And not just small ones, not just tiny little fingers, big, long arms to move even faster. And it hurtles the back end of its own flesh forward in this sickening kind of schlup sound that moves beyond into the cave area here. And you're fairly convinced at seeing this that 2 things are true. 1, it will be very difficult to outrun. And 2, you have no idea how you're going to stop this thing.
So my idea is to have my servitor like making circles around, like not touching it, but it also has the poison breath or whatever, to use that while I cast Wither Limb on it. Which limb? I mean, it still does.
Dealer's choice. Hey.
It does HP damage and permanent con damage, so I'm down.
So what's the range of Wither Limb?
It says 10 yards of target. Yeah, but 30 feet is a little close.
Yeah, it might be. So at this point, we're not yet in rounds. So what I'm going to ask Sam to do is make another Constitution roll and see if you continue to at least outpace it by 1 space. And then we will arrive you at the mouth of the cave.
So that is a failure, 86 over 65.
Spend the luck. Push it.
No. I mean, it's still not going to be like on top of me this turn, right?
Well, it has an extreme success on its con roll.
Okay.
And so it will move 1 movement rate faster than it normally would. So it would not move at a 10, it will move at an 11. And so if it outclasses you by 2 movement spaces, it'll be on top of you if you don't succeed. That's where you're at.
Okay. That's where I'm at now, or that's where...
No, that's where you will be at if the failure stands.
Shit.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I'm going to throw my pithing helmet into the sand, lean into my run, and I'm actually going to try to make it to the ledge that I originally landed on when I broke my landing. The ledge that broke my landing.
Certainly.
Which also provided my vantage point to dealing with the man-beast litter that's on the ground right now.
Okay, so you're going to push the roll?
Yes.
So as your keeper, I'm going to remind you that if a failed push roll is bad.
I know.
Okay.
Constitute, that is an extreme success, 9/65.
Okay, so your movement steps up to 10, which is very advantageous. You dig deep, and you drop the pith helmet, and instead of making a direct line be for the opening of the cave, you alter your trajectory a little bit, thinking that if you angle a little bit of away, you can put maybe some more distance between you and whatever the hell this thing is. And you do. Somehow you find the inner strength to push harder and faster, and you propel yourself up towards the side of the rock. And Jack, you watch his straight on trajectory tilt towards the rock face, and he makes it to the side of the temple where the rocks are, where he can climb up at.
Good luck, Sam.
My heart is racing.
It should be.
How long do we think we have? Just seconds?
It's like a playground's coming at you.
A playground full of arms and legs.
Yeah. Congratulations. Welcome to Call of Cthulhu.
Well, then, I guess the snakes and I will head in.
The snakes and you head in. Jack, what are you, and of course Lillian too, you'll get actions here before it arrives.
Lillian, help me with this barrel.
Okay.
We're going to push it back down the hallway.
What's in the barrel?
Oil.
Oh.
And then you are going to end up physically passing the doctor, who is still essentially passed out. Not passed out, but he's not in a good way nearby.
Wait, what happened?
Well, he was healing Otto, and he was, kind of sacrificing unto himself to make sure his patient lived.
I'm going to slap the doctor.
But all the snakes are still protecting him, correct?
Yes, they are, but you're not sure they will survive that thing.
Well,
Snake
no,
blanket.
of course.
Yes, you.
So he's just in the hallway?
Yeah.
Because once we get into the chamber, I'm going to stop and
Make
do
me a
stuff.
spot hidden roll before you get in the chamber, Jack.
32 under 99.
You go down. Do you grab the barrel?
Yeah.
And you ask Lillian to help you with it, and you guys pick it up. You have to hoist it.
I was going to roll it.
Okay, either way.
Yeah.
So you get ready to roll it. You stop for half a second and look up, and you realize that the temple has a big stone door that's been put into place.
Oh,
It's just,
No.
20 feet up in the air. There must be a way to lower it.
right.
I just noticed it. I have levitate.
Just noticing that now, huh?
There's probably like a lever or something like that. But I kind of want it to actually follow us in here.
Fascinating. Okay,
'Cause I
so
don't want it going to the top.
you start rolling the barrel, Lillian, because
Yep.
Jack starts it, and then you kind of continue on in the motion. He looks up, sees what's going on, and then looks over and smacks you, Doctor, just lightly awake.
We got to move.
Yeah. Doc gets up and is Otto in any condition to be moved?
I don't know. What are you at hit point wise, Otto?
6.
Yeah, you could move.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah, you're better off than I am.
All right. Between Jack and I think we grab Otto, at least Jack's help getting him up off the floor, and then we shuffle him further into the temple proper.
Okay.
And then put a sign next to him that says free bird seed.
And I'll have the servitor go to the top of the temple.
Oh, to lower the door?
Yeah.
Or you mean top of the temple outside?
No,
or?
he'll fit inside. Yeah. he'll come.
Yeah, he would fit inside.
Yeah.
He's a big snake, but he'll fit inside.
We'll have him get ready, like look at the door, and we'll get ready and see what Jack's, because I'm not going to shut them out.
So just remember, the servitor is likely about as smart as, say, like an intelligent puppy.
Right. So I'd have to point and be like,
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Sam, I would like you to make a climb roll for me, sir. Because I assume you're going to go. Are you going to go up?
Yeah, I would like to do that. Do I have time to dramatically slam my feet into my climbing clamps at least?
No. Unless they're on you, you're going to pull them out of your backpack.
I'm going to have the duffel.
Sure, you can get them on if that's what you want. It'll give you obviously the advantage on the roll, but the creature will be able to take another space closer. Just FYI.
Understood.
So the space you gained, you will now lose to put them on.
But then I can begin my ascent.
You could.
As if I have all the time in the world. Calmly and deliberately.
Right.
Yeah. I'm freaking out here. This temple's pretty tall.
It's tall. Yeah, I would say it's probably 30 feet or so. Maybe 40, depending upon where you're standing at.
Yeah. So climb?
Yep. Go ahead and make a climb roll.
That is a S over 74. And hard success 28 over 74.
Okay. So you start your ascent, and you'll be able to use your movement rate unencumbered to hustle up the side.
Okay.
The rather dramatic portion of this is that the part of the ooze puddle, as it nears the door, part of it doesn't separate so much as it just a long portion of it kind of begins to swim directly up the wall.
Oh.
And so it's going to make a climb roll too, because it's going to come after you.
Would you say wicking up the wall through capillary action?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Behind you, Sam, what you hear is hundreds of fingers running up stone, all drumming to a rhythmic beat. And you begin to hear voices on the wind. And those voices are that of an older Arabic man. And you finally catch it there, just at the edge, as you're grabbing the next stone. You hear Omar's voice. And you hear his tone in Arabic, come out of something from behind you. You're still not looking back, though.
No, I'm pretty much. If I do, it's going to be too late anyway. So
Yes. The servitor comes in.
Yes.
Are you going to direct it in any way, shape, or form to follow you, or what are you doing with it when it gets inside?
I'm gonna have it head towards the back and up towards Alexandra.
Okay. So you're going to have it go directly back. Otto and the doctor are moving deeper into the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Lillian, the barrel is getting down where you knew that Nitocris's body was. As you get closer into that portion of the temple, you realize the body is gone.
That makes sense because I think we knew they were going to be here to take the body.
And then Jack, you're...
I'm going to plant the barrel at the inside entrance of the tunnel into the room. And Doctor, I need Betty.
Without hesitation, he hands over Betty with I think the last cartridge.
And Lillian, I need your hatchet.
I pull the hatchet out of my boot and I hand it to Jack.
Okay. In an attempt to make an oil slick at the base of the temple steps, you got a round. So I won't make you roll for the axe hit because it's right there. You pop the top of this lid on the barrel, and then it's as long as are you tipping the barrel over? Right. Yeah, you bet. You, likely as a former police officer, you probably had experience during that portion of Prohibition, at least maybe a little bit. And so you get back into the old ways, as it were, and you crack open the case.
This is just his old practice at breaking it open to get to the juicy, fluids inside.
So you crack open the barrel, and oil begins spilling out everywhere. What's next?
Then I will pull back,
mm-hmm.
Into the center of the room, or maybe a little farther in.
Sure.
And point the flare gun and wait.
Okay. You don't.
Can I look around and see if there's a lever or something to work the door?
Give me a hard spot hidden roll.
No, that's 71 under 99.
Okay.
Expensive a lot.
Can I push it?
You certainly can. How would you like to push the roll?
I will. It's probably inside here somewhere, so it's got to be something obvious. Well, probably not obvious, but it's got to be something that stands out from the rest of the room.
Okay, so you're looking like a different colored stonework, or okay.
Yeah, that'll do it. 35.
Okay. Yeah, you find it. It's right over there by the entrance.
Yeah.
And so if you want the oil barrel to be effective, you're going to have to figure out how to do that at the same time, or because you can't be at two places at once.
Right.
Better go call some of your friends that are still waiting in the back.
Well, they're gone. They left. He has no friends.
Where's Maeve at?
And Maeve is somewhere.
I just said I was heading in.
Yeah, you were heading in. So you didn't say you were completely leaving to the altar room, but
No, probably not if I see him run back towards front.
she's probably close enough, you think, to yell for her.
Maeve.
I'll go running up with the snakes.
Okay.
That right there needs to be dropped as soon as we the thing gets in here. We'll try to trap it in the temple.
And trap it out of the temple?
No.
Okay. So then when it comes through the door, it would be right next to me then, right?
Yep.
Is it a push? Like, do you have to push the button? Is that all?
You're not really certain. You saw, you raised the temple, but you've never seen the door closed. Because obviously you and your sister have never closed it.
Okay, if I'm looking at the lever, is it a lever? Is it a button? Is it a...
It's a, you think he's pointing to a plate, like a stone plate on the wall. Like it might be a push in.
You know what? Don't worry about it. Go. I got an idea.
What's your other idea?
I pull out my other gun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Let me see the disadvantage. It'll be fine.
So you're going to go?
No. But I'm not going to be that close either.
Okay. So you're going to back up a little bit?
Yeah.
So, Jack, you prepare the flare gun and your other pistol as the wave of what seemingly is endless protoplasm and skin rides its way into the mouth of the temple. And I will shift camera just slightly to an area near the temple where something very important is happening. So, Alexandra, you're preparing something.
Indeed.
It's time.
So I have Tariq with me, carrying the body of one Nyarlathotep. And we are making our way into a significantly larger space. And there are symbols carved into the floor. And I have him prepare by putting her body in the middle of the circle and standing next to me. And I recall the children that I summoned from the earth to reappear here. And they are all placed around points in the circle. And I kneel next to the body in a full serpentine form and begin a long, slow, and at least at the beginning, quiet, almost swirling chant. This is going to take a while.
You raise your voice and take on the additional power of your form. You can feel the stones here vibrate back the Aklo language to you and harmonize in this circle. The children that you'd called earlier spin up directly out of the sand nearby, and they take their positions in the circle in a reverence pose to you, their mother. And you feel Tariq's energy there. You feel the energy nearby. And it's at this point you realize that there is another energy on the wind here. That the servitors of chaos have arrived. And they mean to end you and end everything that you are working for.
Well, then the chant will grow louder, and as I continue, I know that I will need more power to potentially speed along this ritual. As such, the first of my raised children are sacrificed to this ritual and to this circle, while Tariq goes over and slits its throat, the blood spilling into the circle and reaching Nyarlathotep.
You begin filling the circle and the lines therein with the blood of your children, a true sacrifice which Yig can appreciate. The father of all snakes rumbles inside your chest just for a moment as the power is transferred to the altar. Each one that Tariq sacrifices brings a stronger connection to the Father. You can feel him in the sand here, watching you very carefully.
After all of the children that I raised from the earth have returned to it, I bring Tariq back to me. And without stopping the chant because it would disrupt the ritual, there is a look of sorrow that comes over my face, and he knows what must be done. I have him kneel next to me so that he is directly in contact with one of my thighs and the edge of Nitukris herself, as the knife that he used for the rest of my children slides into his throat.
The rumble inside grows ever larger as the circle feasts on Tariq's energy. And you begin to see mystical colors in the air here as his soul does not return to the earth but begins to infuse into this mist around the body. You are ever closer.
The chant that I am singing in the Otho language is louder and even more sounding of praise as I reach out to the Father to accept everything that is coming forth. There is almost a reverence for everything that I'm performing because I know that I am achieving the true goal that he has set out for me to accomplish.
Okay. Make me a power. And that is a hard difficulty.
28 under 80.
You feel it there in the air. The ether begins to coalesce. This sort of mystical form begins to step out from the clouds there. Just from where you felt the Father before he came to earth. You see a form break the cloud. And this ghostly apparition, this feminine form begins to descend from the sky towards the altar. And I'll leave you right there. Jack, it floods inside.
I have one little tweak to that plan.
You're going to tweak on me now?
Well,
no, it's fine.
It's a minor one, maybe. Has that pool of oil spread to the section of the wall where the switch is?
No. The switch is probably, three or so feet high.
Well, I mean, not at the switch, but underneath the switch.
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay. So I'm going to use the flare gun to activate the switch instead.
Okay.
Because as soon as that flare hits that, it's got more weight to it. It'll probably be a better chance of activating the switch and dropping to the oil.
Yeah, this thing floods inside.
So I'm going to shoot.
Fire away.
Wow, that was close. 74 under 75.
Ooh. You fire. So you hear the flare gun go off. You see this white hot piece of magnesium fly against the wall. It impacts the plate and cracks it in half, and then sparkles and showers come out from the flare, which ignite the oil on the ground as this flood of flesh rolls right over it. And so you can be assured that it will be doing it some damage. So what we'll rule is that it will do an initial D6 of damage, and then it will do 1 point of damage every round until it is extinguished or until it moves beyond such an area.
So if part of it was climbing up the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and part of it is coming in, does this door come down on it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, good. Maybe it'll trap it, kind of.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll.
1 point of damage.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Can't win them all, Jack.
nope.
So those of you who have fled deeper inside the temple, that would be the doctor, that would be Otto, and that would be Lillian. Where are the three of you going when you get to the room? Like, you get to the altar room, and you fled because Jack has said go, and you get down there, and you're here now. And then a moment or two later, you hear Betty go off. You also, inside the temple hallway, Jack, you and May begin hearing a cacophony of voices out of this thing. So when that flame goes up, you hear shrieking in a hundreds of different voices.
Is it similar to that thing we saw in the basement?
Chakotay? No, it is not.
Oh, okay.
No, this is way worse.
Oh, okay. I just questioned.
The Chakotay is a big purple worm with a bunch of faces. And as this thing rolls along, it seems to, at random, grow faces and arms and teeth and ears.
Right.
It does it at random. So I guess what are the three of you doing then?
I'm going to turn around and go back. Actually, who's out of the two of you, who is like walking, talking?
The both of them are injured. It's very
Oh.
difficult to tell which
I
one
am-
is worse.
Okay.
Actually, we're about the same level of screwed up
Great.
right now.
They look worse. Okay.
Yeah. They're their own mash unit.
You two need to hide somewhere. I'm going to stuff you away in a corner. And then I'm going to head back up towards
She's not
where
wrong.
Jack and whatever else is going on up there is.
Okay, so Lillian tells you two of you to hide. What are the two of you doing?
I'm looking for an exit.
Okay. So you see directly to the right, you know that goes to the place where people had food.
Mm-hmm.
You know that there's a pathway left. You're not certain where that goes. And then beyond where the Nitocris's body was, in the middle of the temple where you were, with all the snakes. And that's another thing to remember is, as you're standing around Sigmund, there's a bunch of snakes around him that are just like hanging out.
I'm not really standing around Sigmund.
I'm just letting you know.
Oh, he still has snakes with him?
Uh-huh.
Like snake
Oh,
blanket.
Yeah, he does.
Like they seem to be, there's a bunch of, various sized black asps that are like collectively around him. They're not aggressive towards any of you, it seems, but they're very aggressive about Sigmund's body space. They seem to cling to where he's at.
Sigmund absently takes a snake out of his pocket. If you would be more comfortable finding someone that is not here, I completely understand.
I know that there was a body here.
Yes.
The body is not here.
Correct.
I want to find where the body went.
I know exactly where the body went.
You know where the body
Roughly.
went. Roughly, yes. In fact, you're the only one here who knows that there's a way out of this temple.
Mm-hmm. Then I just grab Otto by the sleeve. Come on, this way. And I lead him that direction, which is an exit. That's what he wants. And on the way, if I find a melee weapon, sword, heavy-duty stick, that's not my cane. I would like to have something to defend myself. Oh, I do still have a saber, don't I?
Yeah.
It's just I'm not used to carrying a
Yes, you're
saber.
right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So we'll say that there's there is a weapon.
I draw a saber and head that direction,
Okay.
keeping Otto near me.
So you head back where
Yeah. Yes. Is there any torches or anything on the wall as we go?
Yeah.
Can I grab one on the way?
Sure.
Okay. Are they lit? Gosh, I hope they're lit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam, you finish your climb. You get to the ascending portion here. And I guess I
Okay.
would like to know where you're going.
Is this thing still after me?
Are you going to look back?
Oh, I hear it.
Yes.
Okay, so are you saying I've reached the apex of my vertical ascent? I'm
Yes,
on
sir.
top of whatever I was climbing.
Top of Old
the hell?
Smoky.
Where am I?
So you seem to be on a rocky outcropping that is connected to what looks like a temple building. So imagine this as, I would say, not necessarily your run-of-the-mill Egyptian temple, but imagine it as an Egyptian stone building, right? In the temple format, right? So it's
Is it built into the rock face?
no, it's not built in the rock face. This thing came out of the ground.
Okay.
So it has a piece of like unfinished stone that is part of its
Mhm.
front facing. It's like a trapezoid.
Is there a roof?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have I made it to the roof yet?
No, because you just made your ascent. So it's another 20 or 30 feet to the roof itself.
All right, but this thing's climbing up as well, and it's pursuing me, right?
You still hear Omo's voice behind you, and all the pitter patter of feet and fingers.
Okay, I will. So I'm climbing up kind of like the south side of the front face.
Mm-hmm.
How far is the top from where I am? You said like 20 feet?
Yeah, 20 or 30 feet.
Okay, I can't make that throw anyway. I have to climb. I just have to scramble as quickly as I can. I don't have a choice.
Climb roll.
So 50 over 74. That is a success.
Okay. You climb up you finish the ascent portion of this rocky 20 feet, right? So you're able to get to the portion of the actual temple roof. When you put that right foot down and begin to follow through with your motion, you feel something grab the left boot hard. And your boot assist comes off.
Does I have one shoe on?
Yeah.
Oh, the McLean journey has started. I will do my best to not trip over my other foot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I will probably yelp and scramble onto the flat. And what I'm looking for is either a way up or a way in, because I don't think this thing's stopping.
Oh yeah, look over there. There's a way in. It's not far. You could probably reach that soon.
Can I see past the other edge?
Yeah. So again, given the size of temple that it is, the length of it, you're at the front face of it. It does go quite a ways, north in that regard. It's a long temple rather than a wide temple. There is something behind the temple, and there is something going on back there, but it's a good 200 feet. So all you really are seeing is lights or mist or something. It's like somebody set off fireworks back there.
And the top is just a flat plane?
Yeah.
200 feet. Oh, it seems so far. How far is that other entrance?
The other entrance is probably about half that distance.
Well, if I can make it, they're in the same relative direction.
Yes, they are. That is helpful.
All right, so I will run toward the entrance.
Very good.
Assuming that I'm not going to make it.
That's a fair assumption. So, Lillian, you decided to head back towards Jack and Maeve. And so it doesn't take you very long. You hustle back in there, and you see Jack, and you see the door beginning to fall like a rock, because that's what it is. Slams down onto the temple stone floor. And it looks like the blob of flesh, this running puddle of flesh, does seem to react to that. And it slows a little bit its forward movement and seems to shift left and right. And you see 10, 15, 20 arms that suddenly grow very long claw appendages as it starts to dig into the stonework here. And the mouths inside of this thing let out this nasty shriek again.
How close are we?
It's probably 30 or 40 feet away at this point.
Oh, so I can use Wither Limb?
You probably could. Wither Limb is instantaneous. Costs you 8 magic points and costs you a d6 insanity.
Okay. Let's do this. All right, so I spent the 8. A d6 in sand.
It is important to understand that our very own Maeve O'Shea has had some physical therapy, and she's working through it.
That was a 4. As I'm hitting you with pillows. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that is what did you roll a 4 on?
The d6 sand.
Oh, no, my dear. I rolled a sand loss, not
then
you.
Roll it.
I will be happy to.
It's an opposed power roll.
I'm going to roll more than 4, guarantee. Nope. Just 4. God, you were lucky.
Right.
Ooh, opposed POW with this? Fantastic. Let's roll that shit.
Does it have a lot of power? It shouldn't.
Why not?
17 out of 83.
Very good. You succeed. You beat it in the POW roll.
I just want proof. It's right there.
And so Wither Limb
does a d8 of hit point damage and permanent 2d 10 con.
Okay. Would you like to roll both the 2d10 permanent con, which of course will affect its hit points?
Right.
That is 7.
7 on the d8?
2d10 con.
Oh, okay.
D8 is 3.
Okay. You deal it 3 damage, and you drop its constitution by 7.
Oh, and it, not that it probably has sand, but it does cause 1d4 or 1d8 sand to the victim.
Yeah, not so much. So, Jack, beside you, you hear a series of sharp and dissonant tones come from the mouth of Miss O'Shea, and the air around you vibrates in a violent way. Luckily, it was not directed at you. And you see a couple of these misshapen clawed limbs literally wither like plants dying in front of you. They are replaced very quickly by other limbs, and several, we'll say 14 eyes appear at that section of this flesh puddle, and they begin looking at you. All different colors, all different sizes, and then the creature continues forward. This is what you arrive back to, Lillian.
We need to go. And what the hell are you doing?
Coming back to get you guys.
What are the three of you doing? You're running?
Yeah.
Sounds like an excellent idea. Sigmund, you're leading Otto out the back staircase and up?
Yep.
Okay, very good. So he wanders you through this temple like he knows where he's going. Like he's been here before.
They may also bump into someone.
Who?
The servitor went that way.
Oh, right. Yeah, you begin to head up the stairs, Sigmund, and you see Maeve's servitor friend come up from around the corner, out one of these stone chutes.
Heading the same way we are?
No, kind of heading to intersect you and then maybe go back the other way. You're not really certain which way it's going.
Okay.
But its mouth kind of opens up just a little bit, and you see it pass by you with this kind of trailing vent cloud of this nasty sulfurous gas.
I think me and the servitor have spent enough time together that I offer it a friendly wave as it passes and let it go by.
You see
Like
its
a
its third eye blink at you, perhaps as a recognition, you're not sure.
And once it's gone, I briefly take stock of how the doctor's life has spiraled horribly out of control and then continue out to where I know the exit to be.
You head up the stairways.
Okay.
The servitor comes from around one portion as the group of you, Jack, Lillian, Maeve, as you're running back into the temple away from this flood of flesh. And you see the servitor coming kind of basically back up over where the altar is. And it gets a look at what's coming behind you.
Yeah, I'm going to have it start basically pumping the poison breath that direction.
Okay.
While we run past it.
The three of you are running beyond that servitor?
Yeah.
Is it right next to us?
Yeah, it's actually coming right for you.
Oh, that's the first time I've been up close and personal. I really want to touch it, but I know we got to keep going.
You could run your hand along it as you keep going.
Oh, see?
It's
That would
really
be
big.
nice.
It
That's
is
what she said.
probably a good idea. So the three of you run alongside. You see its musculature, along what would be the outer portion of its body, begin pushing in and out rapidly. And behind you, all you hear is this deep and resonant hiss sound. And you start smelling the smell you smelled below Chicago. That chlorine nastiness is back as the temple insides get flooded with this poisonous gas.
I'm just ushering them basically up the stairs. Let's go.
So Sigmund and Otto, you reach the top of the stairs. It's at this point you run almost headlong into Sam, who is running across the top of the temple, sans footwear, at least on one side, which is fairly easy to see. And you see another portion of this creature on the other side of him, behind him.
Chasing him towards us.
Mm-hmm. Now, given the fact that Otto was down at the time when the creature originally appeared, this will be the first time you see this thing.
31 under 44.
You are lucky.
I am.
I don't think the doctor has either.
I don't think so.
So you need a sanity
not
roll
up
as well.
close,
Sir.
Yeah. All I saw was it, moving from a distance. 24 under 46.
Good.
Fantastic.
All right. So, Otto, you're going to lose 5 sanity and make me an intelligence roll. Doctor, you're going to lose 3 sanity.
I found them. They were actually behind this radiator.
Didn't he make the roll?
He did. Each one of them.
Make intelligence
roll? He made the roll. He lost 5 sanity on a d6.
On a
so he's making an
positive.
intelligence roll to not fall into a completely ravenous, axe-wielding red haze.
29 under 75.
Okay, so you absolutely understand what you're seeing, and it breaks your brain.
Yep.
You have a bout of madness. Because I think it would be fun, I'm going to have our guest roll a d10. Allie, would you roll me a d10, please?
3.
That is fantastic. Well done. So, Otto, a red mist descends onto you, as it did the last time, is in the streets and marketplaces of Cairo on the rooftops there, and you explode into a spree of uncontrollable violence and destruction directed at their surroundings, allies, or foes alike for 1d10 rounds. And that'll be 3 as well. So, the doctor is closest to you. Sam is also close to you, but not as close. And so we're just going to see what happens. As you are running headlong towards this opening, 2 forms arrive at the top of it, literally moments before you get there. You're a fairly agile individual, so you'll be able to change course and not directly interdict them. But when they arrive at the top of the stairs and see the wave of whatever's coming behind you, you see the last vestiges of sanity leave Otto's eyes. You watch it happen. And you can see perhaps a new few gray streaks arrive in the doctor's beard and mustache.
This just got really real because this thing's not going to stop. And if they came up here, all that tells me is there's nothing for me down there. So I have one option.
Mm-hmm.
And that is to run to the edge.
Okay, so you're going to just keep at your breakneck pace and keep running?
I'm going to squeak out, run, and keep running. And as I do so, I'll unsling my rope.
Okay. So your dex, Sam, is
75.
Doctor, your dex is
It's 55.
Otto.
70.
All right. So Otto, after Sam passes you, because he does get a chance to pass you, the closest person to you is the doctor. So in your complete fit of rage at your surroundings, what are you doing?
Well, look at what he did to me.
I did drag him up here.
Yes.
Yes, he's dragged you up here to his death. And now what will you be doing to him in return?
I will I will pull the sword of men
Okay,
because it's the closest thing I've got.
that's correct.
And I will attempt to hack him.
Certainly.
Oh, you gonna make me fight you and a Shoggoth at the same time? All right, bitches.
What do you got there, Doctor? Or Otto?
At 6.
Well,
Ooh, that's
Ficky.
not
Out
good.
of 53.
Okay. So, Doc, you are not going to see that coming.
Nope.
And so it is an impale, which means it would do damage plus rolled damage.
Yep.
I am going to play a hand of fate and allow you an opportunity, a standard action, to attempt to defend yourself.
Okay. All right. Well, I already had my saber out.
Yep.
And do I get the ring of steel as it comes out of the scabbard?
Oh, certainly.
Okay. Well, then Doc is literally going to drop back into college training. And the moment he hears ring of steel, fuck it. I ain't going out like that. 27 under 70. So that is a hard success.
Okay. So here's the thing, the way about stage successes
Sure.
really works, right? He has I assume that
He has an extreme.
he has an extreme success, right?
Yep.
That's what's your melee?
6.
My melee is 53.
Yeah,
Extreme would
6.
be
It's
a-
absolutely extreme. Okay. So you parry most of it, but you don't parry all of it. And that's just the way it lands. So It's damage plus rolled damage.
13.
Okay. So, Doctor, 13 damage. How many hit points do you have?
That is more than double, actually, of what I have currently. I have 6.
So, as a pulp character, you have the ability with 30 luck. If you would like to save yourself, you can spend all of your luck.
Okay. I have 3.
Okay.
So I take this round to get stabbed.
You do take the round to get stabbed. You fall into the stairwell. And as you fall into the stairwell, I will play a hand of protection in your favor and prevent you from dying.
Oh, good. So I'm not just slowly bleeding out as opposed to dying quickly.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
effectively at 0.
Okay.
So he stabs you, and you fall down the stairs.
So we see the doctor come.
Yeah, so when the three of you, Jack, Lillian, and Maeve...
Wait, I have a question, though.
Mhm.
Sorry. He had snakes with him that were protecting him.
Absolutely.
Are they going to attack him?
Why wouldn't they?
Okay.
We will get to the snakes.
Okay.
We will get to the snakes.
I was just thinking, like,
they will
would
get
they
to
have
you
seen
as well.
that first?
Well, they wouldn't have been able to react to it. Obviously, it's all reactive stuff.
Right.
So the three of you make your way winding back to the right inside the temple tunnels because you're basically going the way the servitor came from.
Mm-hmm.
And as you do, there's a very small kind of cut-in stairwell that is in the back where this looks like a bedroom. Maybe it was where your sister was staying at. You see Dr. Tottenbach tumble down the stairs, and you see just an absolute trail of blood down the stairs, and he collapses face first onto the stone floor, not moving.
Jack, we need to get him out of here.
Yeah, I know, but what's up there?
They're talking. I just run past.
I don't know, but
Okay.
we need to get him out of here because whatever's
All right.
in front of us is better
I'll
than
pick
behind
him up
us.
and sling him over my shoulder,
Okay. You pick him up.
and I lead the way with my gun because something's up here
Sure.
killing people.
So it's going to be Maeve, and then Lillian, and then you trailing, just because of the
I have
way
my
it works.
shotgun ready.
I have no doubt you do.
Mm.
More snakes.
Sam, you're exiting stage left or stage north, as it were.
So, stage north. Once I hit the edge, I'm going to, you know what? I'm not even going to really halt my momentum if I can. I'm just going to slap that grapple on the edge, and I'm going to rappel as quickly as I can down the other side of the building. There'll likely be a nice little bounce on the first one.
Oh,
We'll
I
go from there.
think bounce is a very kind word. I have never speed repelled before, but I can only imagine doing it at a full tilt.
Let's pulp it, baby.
You're doing it with one boot.
Well, I'm only going to use the boot to stick the landing. So the rest of it's
Are
just
you
going to be
wearing
holding on to the
gloves?
rope.
Yeah, are you wearing
I am.
gloves?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
You're going to want to be. So I guess that's a climb roll.
That is a 68 under 74. That's a success.
Okay. So you leap off the back end of the temple after digging in with the grappling hook, yeah?
Yep.
And you feel the sensation, the friction in the center of your palms as that rope runs right through it. And you hit the first portion of the temple wall and then bounce. And essentially all that's below you is sand. And it's really the impact on the sand that is jarring quite a bit. But you're off the temple.
I made it down.
Well, you will make it down. Yeah, gravity's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I'll do my best to scrape my way down the wall so I don't absolutely break my ass when I land.
It's a successful climb roll, so we'll have you descending at this point, and you'll make it to the bottom probably next round.
Okay.
That said, we need to cut back to our ritual scene with Alexandra. And so as this chaos gets closer, Alexandra, and as the form from the heavens is nearing Nyarlathotep's body, what steps are you taking?
Well, I will be rising out of my kneeling position, and I will be watching the figure that's coming towards, but I will still feel the rumbling of the Father just throughout the whole temple because of what I have succeeded but I will also turn my body just enough to make sure that if something comes invading the space in which I have performed something sacred, I will be ready to stop it if necessary.
Certainly. You're certain that her spirit is coming, and soon you'll have to be prepared to accept it.
I will walk forward just enough so that when her spirit is nearby, I'll be able to absorb it more or less all at once.
You'll have to be on top of the altar, so that way it cannot reach Nito Cruz.
That's not a problem.
Okay. Miss O'Shea, you hit the top of the stairs. When you hit the top of the stairs, you see Otto standing there, having turned to this smaller but still oncoming wave of flesh. And you can hear a deep, just guttural growl in his voice, and this beautiful scimitar that he returned from the mosque with is coated with blood. You're not sure what happened here.
How close is the thing to...
It's almost on top of him,
Okay,
and
so...
also almost on top of you.
So by the time that the doctor would have come down the stairs, it wasn't there yet.
Correct.
Okay.
And furthermore, you sense from your asps that they are coiled to strike
At him?
at someone. It's certainly not you.
Right. But he looks like he's going to fight the thing.
He looks like he has turned to fight this wave of flesh.
So I'll call the servitor up and get the rest of the snakes and start heading in the opposite direction.
Okay. You're certain that the servitor will not reach the stairs anytime soon. It'll take it a little while.
That's fine. I just want it out from the other, away from the other end.
Yes. So you're
Basically, like I'm trying to tell it, like, to preserve yourself.
to flee.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. You turn with the snakes that are with you. Are you trying to dissuade these asps that are here from doing what they're already trying to do? Or,
Yes.
okay.
I'm going to let fate sort that nonsense out.
Understood. So you get to the top of the stairs. You look right for a second, look left. You dig deep and send a few mental images out to the people who need to get them. And then when you turn to go south, you see an amazing amount of power begin to descend from the heavens. You can see this. There's something happening behind the temple.
Well, I will go that way.
Okay. Lillian, you reach the top of the stairs.
Yep.
As you do so, Otto is there, and he has turned towards this flesh wave. And you can see that his sword has already been used on something or someone.
Am I able to put two and two together?
You're a pretty smart girl.
Yep. I still have my torch on me.
Oh, yeah.
And I see, and that the flesh finger thing is still good. Do I see that one
Yes,
coming?
you see a very small puddle of flesh. It's not small, but it's not as big as what you saw downstairs.
Okay, I'm gonna toss my. I don't need my torch anymore. Is it day?
It is
daylight?
not. It is.
No.
Oh, it's dark.
It's in the middle of the night.
I'm gonna keep my torch with me,
Mhm.
and gotta have some sort of light. I yell for Otto, who I don't know if I want to yell for Otto though, because I know what he did with that sword.
You have a good idea.
But I don't want him to die.
Let fate sort it out.
I'm putting a lot on Fate's plate right now.
It's okay because Fate has a shitload of fingers.
I was going to say there's a lot of fingers in Fate.
I'll be
Okay.
fine.
Will you be fine?
I'll be just fine.
I do a kind of a mental calculation if I can run faster than Otto in my head.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure I can. So I yell for him and start running, following Maeve that way.
Okay. So you come upstairs, you have a very quick existential crisis.
Yep.
You do the calculation of the bear, and then you run left. Got it.
Yes.
Wait.
And you're like, Otto,
I don't
let's
have
go.
I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Go. Because of the dexterity score of the creature, Jack, you'll get to act before it does. So as you're hustling up the stairs, you can see that there is this amorphous shape that is trying to make its way back. I shouldn't say see. You hear those sounds coming from the middle of the ritual room, and you'd be the only one to see this. But the servitor that had turned around, right, it is pouring itself basically in through a break in the temple foundation here into the sand, and it's doing its best to basically force its way into underground. As you're hustling up the stairs, you can hear it behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to the top of the stairs, you see some very similar things.
I'm not going to be able to outrun that thing carrying the doctor.
Probably not. What we'll probably say is that I will require a successful strength roll for you to continue to fireman's carry the doctor out of here.
I'm going back down.
Okay.
Because, at some point, this thing can't stretch any farther.
You're not sure of that?
Right. But I'm guessing that maybe if I because I'm not going to be able to outrun him, and I can't drop the doctor. Maybe if I go down into one of the other rooms, I can it'll bypass me.
So you would know this just before you make that calculation in your head. You would know that the poisonous gas that's been pumped into the altar room, it's going to block you from getting to any of the other tunnels. You know that route is blocked.
Okay, so I'm going to get up there, and I am going to, since Otto is standing there.
He's not standing there so much as he's preparing to do some terrible things, likely.
I've seen this kind of thing before.
You have?
Very recently, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make the same calculation that Lillian made.
Okay.
That I don't have to outrun it. I just have to outrun Otto.
So.
But instead of just running, I'm going to back away, firing into the thing.
Okay. So go ahead and make me a roll. You roll me
roll.
A firearms roll, yeah.
19.
Okay. Your dexterity is, Mr. Doyle?
60.
Okay. So after you fire, Otto will have an opportunity to act at that point. And so you'll have to make a decision as far as what you are going to do as far as targets go.
Well, that amorphous mass was what I was facing.
That's true.
I hear a noise behind me, but that doesn't matter right now.
Wow.
Jack, go ahead and roll damage.
6.
Okay, I'd like you to make a, not strength, but constitution roll to run with the doctor.
I'm not running. I can't.
You're just going to...
I'm trying to back up, at
a pace and fire. Okay, yeah. That's fine. We don't need the dice roll then.
Okay.
Otto, before you is an enemy that must fall.
Yep.
Have at it.
I will spend 17 luck to make that a 53, which hits.
It is not dodging.
6 damage.
Roll me an additional D4.
3.
Okay. You chop into this thing with the scimitar, and you hear its voice in your head. You hear it sing to you as you cut through the first ring of flesh. This sickening sound that comes from the inside of this body is one of desperation, of hunger. You can hear the hunger in the voices around you. And as you cut into this flesh, you open an enormous wound in it, this section of the creature that's here. As the mystical nature of that scimitar takes over and bleeds through all of this creature's protection. It does, however, make its engulf. And so as you rip it apart, the leftover, almost flexible pseudopod nature of the back end of this creature leaps forward like an enormous cloak in an attempt to engulf you. And that will hit. And so it is going to engulf you as a maneuver. Now, it won't get its full damage bonus because the creature is separated, which is advantageous. Although I don't think it will need it. But we'll see. So if you'd like, You can make an opposed strength roll with me.
Oh, this will go well. 10 under 40.
Ooh, that's a good one. It's a hard success. Yeah, I mean, I still beat you, but it's a pretty good roll.
Literally, metaphorically.
Okay. So it is going to deal 12 damage
Yep.
during its engulf. And so as it wraps around you, what you feel are an immense amount of pressure on your shoulders first.
Mhm.
And you feel a very sickening pressurization of your chest, your clavicle, your sternum. And there is a horrific and almost euphoric inducing snap from your ribs as your rib cage crumples. That is its attack. We will spin to you, Miss O'Shea. You get to the edge of the temple where you see, just for the briefest of moments, at the bottom of this back end of the temple, you see Sam finishing descending by a rope.
Okay, and I heard gunshots behind me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sending half the snakes to Jack and the doctor.
Okay. You feel a disconnect with some of the voices or some of these snakes inside of you. You almost feel like some of them are being consumed.
I look at... Oh, like when they go back?
Well, no, like the ones that were around the doctor protect him.
Oh.
Because they're... Not all of them have been able to...
Right.
They can't move as fast as you do.
Right.
And so naturally some of them are there when this creature arrives
Okay.
for Audle. And they are dying very quickly.
Well, hopefully they can inject some poison at least. All right, what else do I see? I just see Sam.
Yeah, and then probably 30 or 40 feet beyond that, you see a outdoor temple with an altar, and you see your sister atop this altar, and beneath her is the mummy, and you see this spiritual energy in the form of what looks like a ghostly presence, and it's reaching out to touch her.
Okay.
And she's very much in a physical state that she's prepared to accept it.
I guess I'll keep running towards that.
Well, you have a temple to get off of.
Oh. I thought she was on the temple.
No, she's behind the temple.
Oh. Okay. Where's my servitor?
Below, beneath ground.
Could he come help me down?
You do have levitate.
I do, but I'm asking, how close is he? So I guess I'll have him come this way.
Okay.
And I'll cast levitate and feather fall down.
Certainly. You cast levitate. What's the MP cost on that?
It's variable. So every 3 to 5 feet.
Okay, so if you want to levitate all the way down, it's 1 point per of size. So what's your size?
Way too big.
It's right. You got the junk in the trunk.
Yeah, 70.
the ass that broke the shop. 70, huh?
14
so
points.
14 points if you want yourself to levitate.
Okay. I got it still.
Okay, you spend it.
Okay.
You begin to cast levitate, asking your servitor to come and assist you. Yeah, Lillian's next. So, Lillian, you reach given how speedy you are, you reach the end of the temple here, the temple proper, and you see that there's a big dip. And it's at that point you run into Maeve, who is busy chanting something, and you see the air swirling around her. And beneath you, if in the sand here, out here beneath you, you see a whirlpool start, like some sort of depression in the sand.
I skid to stop, hopefully, before I get to fall off the edge.
Right.
I do turn to look back, and what do I see?
None of that is good. It's all bad. What do you see? You see Jack slowly backing away from whatever's going on over there, and you can see and hear his gun going off.
Like, how close is all that to where we are on the edge of
Probably 75 feet.
It's not really.
It's not.
And there's no way to just slide down the temple side.
No. Why would there be? It's not a playground.
Well,
It's a snake temple.
I didn't know how.
That's why we make snake slides.
There's a rope.
Oh, yeah, is the rope still there?
Well, Sam is recovering in the sand. Are you going to pull your rope?
And I don't have time for that. Are you kidding me?
You're just running?
So you said that there was a light show and a bunch of other madness going on behind the temple. What can I see from where I am?
So what you see from where you're at is in the distance, probably about 7 or so feet away. You see that there's what looked like a ritual circle that's up. You see some smaller stone pieces there. You see an altar, and you see a form on top of that altar. And it is a taller, somewhat broader individual. And you see a multicolored, scaled being who has extended their arms towards the sky, and there is a ghostly presence who is arriving for it from the heavens. It's quite the scene.
Well, everything is very clear now. So what I'm going to do, assuming that I'm still being pursued or that I will be, this is where the action is going to be. Because regardless of what happens with the goo or anyone behind me, this is what Omar wants, which means he's going to come here. Mm-hmm. So I move toward the outdoor temple space into the darkness, and I do my best to disappear from view.
All right, make a stealth roll. So yes, Lillian, there is a rope.
Fantastic. But I turn around because I still have my shotgun on me. Yeah. Obviously. And I put down the torch did I see Otto slice that thing open?
No way. Not at that distance.
That is an extreme success, 695.
Okay. You are a ghost. And we'll get back to you in a little while.
See, I hear Jack shoot up. I mean, I don't have any gloves to get down with a rope. And
you don't? It doesn't mean you can't make a climb roll. It doesn't mean you can't.
You just can't.
My climb's only 20. That's just not.
Now, the rope there does give you advantage. It gives you an assist, so you would get the better of the two rolls.
Be better off tying the rope to the doctor and...
Well,
it doesn't mean you using the rope won't use the rope entirely. You're going to use the rope to get down to the bottom.
I'm going to stay put.
Okay, you stay put.
Yep.
Sam, when you drift off into the shadows here and into the nearby space... you can tell that at the base of the temple where you just were, there is an enormous vacuum of sand, like something from underneath the ground is coming out. It's probably an area about 2 to 3 meters wide.
That doesn't look friendly.
I'm just letting you know visually. No, it looks like a sinkhole is opening.
Yeah, the sand is very upset here, and I'm not going to throw myself in there if I can avoid it.
That's probably a smart idea.
All right. I'm skirting the edge as I can to get a better view of what's going on and to find cover.
Okay.
There's plenty of stones and whatnot around here, right?
I did.
Yes.
So, Jack, you reach the edge. Maeve, your spell finishes. You're fairly certain that your investment will pay off. You'll be able to levitate as necessary and essentially float down to the bottom and then be off the ground if you need to.
How long do I think it'll be to get the servitor up here to help?
It looks like he's already coming through the...
Okay. I'm going to look to them. He's going to help if you need help down, like to get the doctor down.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go down and meet him and I'll whoop.
Yeah, she jumps off.
Even with the sounds.
She does a Peter Pan right off this temple.
I grab the rope and I start pulling it up just in case because... She said the servitor is coming, but who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put the doctor down.
Yep.
All right. I start shooting into the thing.
Yeah.
Unloading.
Yeah. That's...
You do. You begin firing. I think that this is, as you turn towards this wall of whatever's flesh is down there, you can probably hear the struggle of Otto, a man who now... as the rage dims, finally comes to in the center of what feels like hundreds of hands and 10s and 20s of mouths wrapped around you all eager to make you part of it. And so we'll call our session to a close there and get back to you next week as we get closer to the finale of Egypt on the Old Ways podcast. Thank you and good night.